Good evening, welcome. Well, I am so excited to be here with Kelly of Baby Bliss Consulting. Welcome, Kelly.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
First of all, we just want to welcome you, and we're please hop on as we're talking. Enter your questions into the comments, and we will address questions at the conclusion of my interview with Kelly. So please, if questions arise as we're talking, type them into the comments, and we'll get those addressed at the end. We also want to give a huge shout out to Dr. Allie Simmons. She is the owner of Resilient Chiropractic, and she is allowing us to use her beautiful office tonight for our live. So thank you, Allie. Thank you, Dr. Allie. We are so appreciative of you allowing us to be here tonight. It's beautiful. I'm here with Kelly with Baby Bliss Consulting, and we are talking about kind of a variety of things. Kelly has quite a few talents that she's going to share with us tonight. But particularly, we want to touch on Kelly's experience with infant sleep. I think when we become new parents, it's one of those things that people kind of tease you about get ready to not have any sleep and get prepared to be awake all night and restless nights. And it's one of those things that people will often always ask too is, how's baby sleeping? And people judge whether or not baby's a quote-unquote good baby by how they sleep. So it's definitely one of those things that is really important for parents to be knowledgeable about, to have good expectations, and to set a solid foundation for baby sleep for childhood and potentially even beyond.
Absolutely.
So thank you all for being here, and with that, we'll go ahead and get started with some questions for Kelly. So,
sounds good.
Kelly, tell us just a little bit about you.
So on the personal note, my husband and I have 4 boys. Our oldest is 12. We also have a 10-year-old, and the twins are 7. So how did we end up with 4 boys in 5 years? Well, my big plan was we were going to have 3 children really close in age. Didn't realize we were going to end up with twins. So that's how we had 4 in 5 years. So anyway, that's the personal side. A lot of boy stuff at our house. On a professional side, I've been in different training capacities for the past 18 years. I was a corporate trainer until my oldest was born, and then I became certified to teach baby sign language. And since then, I just keep adding classes. I became certified to teach Happiest Baby on the Block, infant massage, love and logic, safe with you. So lots of different classes. I truly believe Happiest Baby on the Block saved me when we had our twins. We had a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old and newborn twin babies, and we were okay. We used the tips, the techniques, we used everything day and night. And it was just a few years later that I started reaching out and helping families, doing in-home consultations for the very same thing.
We'll touch a little bit on Happiest Baby on the Block later. Hopefully you'll kind of explain to folks what that is. But one of the certifications that you are really proud of is that you're a certified pediatric sleep consultant. What exactly is that?
It just means I've taken a consultant certification course. The coursework included, or I haven't taken, I've passed. The coursework included information on the science of sleep, common infant toddler sleep problems, and techniques and methods for sleep training. Plus lots more, so yeah.
And why did you decide to get into sleep consulting for infants and toddlers?
Well, so I've been the Happiest Baby on the Block educator for almost 10 years now, and I'm so passionate about sleep and about starting those healthy sleep habits from the very beginning with families. But that said, sometimes we don't end up with the best of habits, and it just happens. Best of intentions, it just doesn't always work out the way we planned. And so this certification allows me to help with those families on the road to better sleep as well.
So do you feel like because you instilled really great habits in your family, that's what kind of got you then passionate about this? Or did you have an experience where it was kind of like, it was tough? Or was it just kind of you kind of knew?
No, there was different pieces. So with the twins, having the knowledge, like I said, I really think it saved us. So and I want everybody to know, to know these techniques and to know what we did, because I don't know that we would have survived that. But it was good. And then, with my oldest, I didn't know anything about sleep when he was a baby, and we look back and we're like, wow, the 45-minute napper, it was like we could set a clock, and now I know why, and I know other things we could have done to extend that. And then my other son, he's the one that kind of inspired me to find Happiest Baby on the Block. Of course, by the time I discovered it, he was past the period of purple crying, so it didn't help us. But it did make me passionate to teach others about it.
So you touched briefly on a lot of the trainings that you are certified in or have done. Are there any that you left off? Or, I mean, you guys, Kelly is seriously an expert and trained and in so many things. But is there anything you left off, or what's your favorite? Or
well, I feel like everything kind of goes together. I pull pieces from different certifications and trainings that I have to make, to me, a good combination. But like I said, Happiest Baby on the Block, just the most amazing techniques. I love empowering parents with techniques to soothe their babies during the period of purple crying. It doesn't have to be, crying for 5 hours at night. It doesn't. These techniques work. And the term SIDS does truly strike fear in all new parents. And knowing that although we can't completely prevent SIDS, there are ways we can reduce the risk. So a lot of parents feel better about knowing that. And like I said, the baby sign language, love it. Could talk all night on that. And then the Love and Logic has really helped me help families with toddlers and preschoolers with sleep training, with potty training, and that sort of thing.
So what is your philosophy regarding how new parents should approach infant sleep, and what should their expectations be?
So a lot of parents are really surprised when they bring their babies home and they sleep. And they sleep a lot, and they sleep really well, and they'll sleep anywhere, and they're so surprised. Oh, I have the best sleeper. I think it's important for parents to understand that sleep is going to change. And just because this is how it was the first couple months doesn't mean you're going to always be able to do the exact same thing and it's just going to work. So having the expectation up front that sleep is going to change and they need to be prepared for it, I think is good.
Okay. And I've heard you say that you are not a sleep trainer, but rather you help establish healthy routines. So what is the difference? Because sometimes hearing the term sleep training can it gets a bad rap. So what is the difference between what you do and kind of sleep training?
So sometimes, people, when I work with a lot of newborn families, they'll say, oh, my mom really doesn't want me sleep training our newborn. No, we're not, I promise. We're establishing healthy sleep habits in the very beginning. And the nice thing about starting with newborns is we can have zero crying. This is no crying at all. It's just babies, newborns are really easy to soothe in the crib or in the bassinet or pack and play, wherever they're sleeping, and teaching them those sleep habits. So as they do get older, they already know how to fall asleep on their own. Whereas when you're starting with maybe a 9 or 10 month old or something like that, an age like that, those crib side techniques don't work anymore. And so sometimes the only way to teach that, there is some crying involved, or there can be. There's other techniques too. There's different methods and techniques of sleep training. But yeah, that would probably be more sleep training. But anytime you're working with infants, we're not sleep training. We're just establishing healthy habits and using a lot of soothing techniques along the way.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So tell me about your average consultation with a family. What does that look like? What do you do before you meet with mom and dad? What do you actually do when you're working in their home? What follow-up is done? So if someone hires you, what can they expect?
Sure. So most of the in-home consultations I do are for families with newborns. And what that looks like is ahead of time I send them an intake form just to allow them to give me all sorts of details, information on what's been happening, what questions they have, just some of their habits, routines, and that sort of thing. And then I put together a personalized sleep plan for them based on that, which we go over in their home. When I get there, I also evaluate the nursery to make sure it's conducive to help reduce the risk of SIDS. I help them lay their baby down for a nap, drowsy but awake, in the crib or bassinet, and I show them how to do that with no crying. We do an infant massage and then 2 weeks of support. And that support usually is in the form of text messages. Every now and then it's another occasional phone call. It just depends on what works best for them.
Wow, that's really cool.
Yeah. Oh, and then for babies that are 4 months or older, it looks a little bit different. Most of those are done over the phone. Like I said, those newborn techniques don't work as well anymore. So there's not always a need for me to come to the home. Some parents still like that, and that's fine. I do that too. And that also allows them to learn that infant massage instruction. And then they also get the 2 weeks of support.
And what about toddlers?
Yes.
So is it kind of the same thing? They'll fill out a form and then you'll mostly do phone consultations with them?
Yep.
Okay. And what follow-up is done, or do you check in later if they're having problems? Can they, after the 2-week period, call you and reassess, or maybe you don't ever have that happen too often?
Every now and then someone may reach back out, or they've, gone on a trip, or they've had a sick baby or something like that, and they're like, and I just, remind them what they need to do, or maybe offer some new suggestions. But, my clients that contact me early when their babies are newborns, it's like, just stay the course. And no, I don't usually hear from them again. It's sometimes the ones that contact me a little bit later that we have to start over again, and just kind of, it's like falling off track.
Yes.
You need to get back on again.
And so what are some of your top 3 tips, or a couple of tips you have for parents as they prepare to bring their baby home and establish a good sleep routine from the beginning?
Okay, so first of all, I think they should contact Baby Bliss Consulting right away. Definitely, seriously, do that. And wait till feeding's established, because that's the most important thing, is to get that covered first. But I tell parents, contact me early. Contact me before that period of purple crying gets out of hand.
And I'm going to interrupt you. Just briefly, what is period of purple crying for people who may not know?
Good question, yes. Okay, so the term colic kind of had a bad rap. So it's kind of been retermed the period of purple crying. And what that is it's just a time period during the baby's life when they cry more than any other time. And it's just a developmental period. There's nothing wrong with them. The P stands for the peak of crying. They typically start crying a little bit more around 6 weeks, peaks at 8, tends to get better by 3 to 4 months. The U, it's the crying's unexpected. It comes and goes and you don't really know why. The R is that they resist soothing. So you may try everything that you know and it just doesn't calm the crying. The other P is a pain-like face. Baby looks like he or she is in pain even though they're not. And the L is long-lasting. The crying may last as long as 5 hours a day or more. Nobody wants to hear that. And the E is the evening. Typically the crying starts to get the worst in the late afternoon, early evening, and it can last until 10, 11 o'clock at night sometimes. So knowing techniques to get you through that period, I think is important. So like I said, call me before you get to that 6-week point, because I can save you during that time.
So purple crying will show up at about 6 weeks.
Usually a little bit before.
Before
really
6
start
weeks.
noticing it at about 6 weeks.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yep.
So that's your first tip. Call Baby Bliss before period of purple crying.
Yeah,
okay.
Call Baby Bliss. And then second tip, I would say, even before you bring baby home from the hospital, set up your environment, whatever room they're going to sleep in. And some people think that, they have blinds on the windows, it's enough. It's not. Get some good room darkening curtains on those windows when you still have time to do it. And get a sound machine. You got to have some white noise. And then a third tip, I would say, don't underestimate how important it is to feed your baby often during the day. Babies that go for long periods between feedings during the day need to eat more often at night. So feed often during the day. So, let those longer stretches be at night. That's really important. Yeah.
Awesome. So besides sleep consulting, what other services do you provide for parents?
Like I mentioned, the baby sign language has so many benefits. I absolutely love it. I mean, obviously communication, but it reduces frustration. It increases verbal language development, helps promote, children to love reading. It has so many benefits. And also I guide families through potty training. Sometimes parents get so frustrated with potty training, and it does not have to be a power struggle between parent and child. It can actually be fun. So with potty training, I also tell people, call me before you start, because it can just go so smooth. If you dabble in it, start, stop, it can make it really confusing for the child, and it can make it take a lot longer. So if you're not sure, what method you're going to do, because there's so many different techniques out there, just call me and I'll guide you right in the right path.
Wonderful. So tell me just a little bit about the average cost of your services, sleep consulting, baby sign, potty training, any of that. What are they going to spend?
So the in-home Soothe and Sleep for newborns is $350, and that includes that 2 weeks of follow-up. The phone consultations for babies 4 months and older, those are $325. Potty training is $225, And the baby sign language, I've been working, and I need to get working on it again. I'm creating an online class that people will be able to just purchase for me and be able to take up at their own pace. So stay tuned.
That's so
it's
exciting.
one of those, when I have free time, I'm working on that, and it's like, oh, another week passed and I haven't gotten to it. So yes, I'm working on that too.
And any parent will tell you who has gone through sleep issues with an infant or a older baby or a toddler would gladly pay to have that, to sleep. I mean, our sleep is invaluable and it's so important for kids. And so I think it's certainly an investment that people will be making when they hire you. And as someone who's going through the potty training, I'm with my 3-year-old, I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, probably should have just called Kelly.
Save yourself some
Would have been worth it. The amount that I'm probably spending in diapers now for hoping that it would have been done 6 months ago, I could have just spent on calling you.
That's
saved a lot of headache. So why should someone hire you?
Sleep is essential. I mean, it really is the foundation of everything that we do. When we're well rested, we're our best person. But just people don't even realize they're so sleep deprived after so many months. But it does affect every aspect of your life. It affects all of your relationships with your spouse, with your other children. It affects your work. If you work outside the home, if you work inside the home. I feel like a lot of times it's like you fix the sleep issues going on and everything else just falls into place.
The family just functions so much better.
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah, when mom and dad are well rested.
Yes. And you do so much and reach quite a wide range of ages. But really, what is your favorite part of doing the work you do? Because you do so many things. Can you name one?
Yeah, I can. My very favorite is working with newborns. I love teaching those soothing techniques. I love walking, pulling up to driveway, and sometimes this happens. Somebody will tackle me in the driveway. There's a screaming baby inside. Like, will you help? And so I get in there and I, do my thing and I show them, okay, this is how we do this. And then, mom and dad practice the soothing techniques. And by the time I leave, they're happy, they're smiling. It's like they've practiced the techniques. They know they work on their baby. The screaming doesn't have to continue. And and they know that there's, sleep is going to be on the way too. Because the techniques also help promote better sleep. There's, things we can do during the night. And then parents that have been, 9, 10, 11, 12 months, sometimes even longer, if they have a toddler, have just not been sleeping well, just helping them, it doesn't have to be that way. You can sleep again.
Yeah.
There is help. There's support.
So I told Kelly I wasn't going to ask any rogue questions that weren't on my list. However, I just want to ask, because you're talking about mom and dad, so it's important that both parents, is it important that both parents are there to learn the techniques, or do you find that it can be helpful if just one does, or is it really kind of important that they're on the same page?
A lot of dads are there. So some people think it's just mom. It's not just moms anymore. It's a lot of dads are there to learn these techniques too. And I love that. I think that that's just amazing. And a lot of my clients, the follow-up we usually do with texting, we've got a group text going on most of the time. Mom, dad, and Kelly.
Awesome.
So, so I think either way, sometimes it's a situation where dad travels and I become a support system as we're getting this set up, and it's just, mom and me, and that's fine. And like I said, a lot of times dad's involved too. So it's really whatever works best for the family.
Wonderful. Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, that's all the questions we formally had for this evening. I'm going to hop on and see what questions people have asked here. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to grab my computer here. I just also want to say that I had something I wanted to say, but I can't remember it. Follow Baby Bliss Consulting on Facebook because if you want to, Kelly is so great about sharing a wide variety of information about sleep and other things, just infant and newborn and baby care. But it's really cool to see. She's also so great about sharing pictures of the families that she's touched and what she has done, and the comments that people have on how much she has truly changed their lives. I mean, people are huge advocates of her. So if you are questioning whether or not, this is something that would be a good fit for you, I encourage you to log on to her Facebook page on her website and just read what people have had to say. She's truly making a big difference in the lives of new parents like me. So,
thank you.
Yes. Let's see here. Have there been any questions? Folks? Apologize for the delay here.
Things have popped up, but I'm not sure if they were questions or comments.
Oh yes, we have some comments.
Okay.
We've gotten some people affirming just how wonderful you are. And preach. Amy says, I want to come hang out with both of you anytime.
Aww.
Amy, we'd love to hang out with you too. Did I miss a question? Michelle says, Kelly has changed our lives. It's so nice to finally have a baby who sleeps in her crib, and for 11 hours a night, I feel like a new person.
Hey, thank you, Michelle.
Yeah. Whoops. What questions am I missing? Am I missing some? Christina says, Kelly is awesome. My life has been changed with her help and techniques. Jasmine says, on night 4, already making progress. So just lots of love for you.
Nice.
Beth has a question.
Okay.
For sleep consulting, is cry it out ever a technique you use?
I don't use cry it out as a full technique of, okay, we're going to close the door and baby's going to cry until he or she falls asleep. But that said, anytime you're sleep training with an older baby, we're changing things. Sometimes we're changing where baby sleeps. A lot of the times we're changing how baby falls asleep. And the only way they have to tell us that they don't like us changing things is to cry. So most often there is tears, but it's not, I don't love a cry it out, close the door, never go in again.
Good.
But there's, like I said, there's different methods, there's different techniques. If people are interested in, less crying techniques, those are available, but they do take longer.
So I'm sure on some of those conversations you have, you're talking with parents about what their wants are, what their needs are, and so that you are recommending techniques based on kind of their philosophy.
Absolutely, and I always offer 2 options based on what you've told me that I think would be best for your family. And we start with a technique and it's not going how you had thought it would go or what you had planned, we could switch to the other one. And so it's just worth having a conversation.
Great. Well, please feel free, if you are watching this after this interview, hopefully I haven't missed any questions, but if you're watching this after the live on the replay, #replay, feel free to type a comment or type a question in the comments, and we will make sure that Kelly gets your questions answered after the fact. And we are just, thank you. We really appreciate you taking the time with us this evening. And again, I'm Shannon Sands. I teach Birth Boot Camp, which is childbirth education. I am getting ready to have a baby myself, and so my classes are wrapping up for the remainder of the fall, and I'll be kicking off more classes again in January. Kelly, however, is not having a baby.
No.
So she is available to call her at any time. Just talk things through with her, reach out to her, let her answer some of your questions to see if this is going to be a good fit for you and your family. I guarantee you it is. She is so kind, she's so knowledgeable, and really passionate about this work. So encourage you to follow Kelly on Baby Bliss Consulting on Facebook. Reach out to either of us if you have any questions about what we do. And again, we are just so appreciative for you tuning in this evening.
Thank you.
Thanks. Have a great night. We're still here. I don't know how to turn you off. Oh, there you are. Okay. Bye.